Hello and welcome to Noni, Yanga's flagship talk show where we discuss the hot topics. Today we're discussing the pageantry world and ask if pageants are simply a positive expression of beauty or do they negatively objectify women. Joining me today, founder of Mr and Miss Nigeria UK, Ganiya Ali. Winner of Miss Teen Ghana UK 2017, Ehema Faye Nimo. And winner of Miss Tourism Nigeria 2016, Kim Opera. Welcome, ladies. I got my wave on point. Now, the first Miss America was crowned almost 100 years ago, and today the beauty pageant industry is worth more than $1 billion. From Miss Universe, an event once owned by US President Donald Trump, to Mr and Mrs Africa UK, the beauty pageant industry is bigger than ever. With previous pageantry winners, including Oprah Winfrey and Halle Berry, is it fair to question the industry's inability to empower women? Ganiya, let me come to you. You've been involved with Miss Universe, and of course you're the founder of Mr and Miss Nigeria UK. Do you think we're too harsh with our critiques of the industry?
I think it depends on who's speaking, really. I personally, being a part of it, the reason why I put it together was because I saw that there was a gap in the market on how things were being done, and being a woman, I think it's different. A lot of the pageants are run by men.
Oh, wow.
That I found anyway at the time. And I found out, I was thinking to myself, like, why are we being judged by men who don't know our experiences?
Why do you think that is, actually? Why do you think it was men? Is it because they got the money or the power, or...?
I think they just go and do it. You know, women, we have this kind of inferiority complex where we just don't feel like we should be doing these kind of things, or maybe we're the ones helping the men do it, but we never kind of take the forefront. And I think that's usually the case. And I was doing events with a man as the lead, and I just decided, you know what, rather than complain, let me go out and do it myself.
I'm going to take the lead, and you have it. It's such a successful show. Kim, stunning, by the way. You look absolutely beautiful. Nice suit. I'll borrow that. You've been doing pageantry since school. Tell me about why you got involved and what the appeal was.
At first, I started pageantry there because I was sort of like a tomboy when I was growing up. Okay. So we started this pageant in my high school, and my friends dared me. They're like, "Oh, you would have won, but you're too much of a tomboy to compete." Yeah. So I went undercover, all this FBI stuff. I went and got costumes, shoes.
Wow.
Hair,
you spent
makeup.
money.
Oh, not really, because I had friends that were already really girly, so they just helped me put some things together. And then
Cinderella style.
Exactly. And I loved it. I loved it. I won. I loved it. And since then, I've been doing it. I think it helps with your confidence level, and then the platform it gives you. It's just outstanding.
Out of this world. Something I need to enter or try and enter. Faye, I can see you've got your what can we call your sash with you, Miss Teen Ghana UK 2017. How has that changed your life?
It was a crazy experience because I actually became the first edition winner, so first in history, and so, there's a legacy already, I should say. Yeah. It was a bit of a challenge being a first edition winner, because putting your name out there, trying to promote the pageant is very difficult, really trying to get your name out there. A lot of responsibility and pressures placed on you. And a girl of my age and of my, caliber, I'm 18.
Wow, gosh, you look it, No jealousy intended.
So it was very challenging, trying to build our audience, not just within the Ghanaian community, but with the African community. It was challenging, but it was a creative and productive experience so far. I've been enjoying it.
And it's definitely, you would say it's worthwhile, would you?
Oh yes, definitely, because I'm always going to be in the history books because of that. And I'm very, very appreciative and grateful that, young girls and boys have been looking up to me. I feel like I haven't done much, but according to them, they feel like, I've really set a mark for them and opened a door for them. Thank you.
And you're taking that position really seriously. Ganiya, we're hearing what Faye's saying, and some people kind of roll their eyes and be like, what responsibility? It's only a beauty competition, kind of pull yourself together. There are people doing serious things. Do you sometimes feel that people do downplay the role?
Funnily enough, one of the people that work on the team with me, he came to the 2015 edition of Mr. Miss Nigeria. And because I think my people came because it was me, because they knew me. They didn't really know what to expect. But when they came, they were like, wow, no, this is more than just people walking around on stage.
What is it?
They have with my pageant, they have to learn about their culture. They have to learn about Nigeria. We give them tribes, so to research. So somebody who's Igbo will be learning about Yoruba.
Okay, that's
They don't
good.
necessarily learn about their own tribe.
Yeah.
So I think doing the pageant, I learned more like Edo and all these different tribes. So they have to really, learn about Nigeria. It's not just about walking up and down the stage. And a lot of the stuff that they learn can be translated into life skills, how to project your voice, how to speak, how to just sit properly. Yeah, just
am I sitting
you're
well
doing
today,
very well.
ladies? I don't have a crown, but I hope I'm sitting straight.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have the crown, but it's sitting like you own a crown.
Yeah.
And taking those things into life skills. And it's more than just that day. It's more than just the live show. There is so much more behind it.
Of course, and we're going to talk about that a bit later. But Kim, how have you found winning? How has it been perceived in Nigeria? Because some say, in certain states in Nigeria, you're not expected to wear a bikini. You're not expected to kind of put yourself out there and your looks as a woman. Some have said winning the crown or a title in Nigeria, does come with more responsibilities.
I would say that there's a stigma in Nigeria about pageantry industry as a whole, but
what is that stigma?
They tend to see pageantry basically just as just beauty without brains, or possibly like a prostitution ring of some sort. Exactly, yes. So I would say that the stigma doesn't really help a lot, but the individuals that have actually won from the pageants have a way of proving to society and at large that this is not what the pageant industry is about. It's far more better than that. That's why they go into pet projects like helping charity foundations, the less privileged, and just trying to make the community a better place, just to show that, okay, this is here to stay and it's not going anywhere.
Well, 100
so you have to
years,
accept us.
100 years, $1 billion.
Yes.
Clearly it hasn't. Faye, you spoke about, feeling like you're a role model, and is that how you see the industry? Do you see it as not just a beauty pageant, but something that, makes young men and women, a pillar of the community and somebody they can look up to?
Well, believe it or not, Teen Gun UK was actually a creative pageant, not a beauty pageant.
Oh, wow.
And so actually spreading that message across that, look, this is the first edition. This is a creative pageant. It's not your usual pageant. It's not about beauty. I had a few arguments and disagreements with many people who refused to believe that it wasn't a beauty pageant. And so that alone told me that the way we've presented the pageantry world, people believe that it's solely based on beauty. Yes. And so I laid that I made a vow to myself to say, okay, right, if this is what they believe, I need to go out there and do as much work as I possibly can to really spread this message across that once you win, it's not about the looks. There is more to it than beauty. The whole point is beauty with brains. And so here's me trying to, prove that I have brains.
Yeah, of course.
And so,
but being pretty does help though, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Oh, yes, it does.
And you can testify to that. But what would you say, Ganiat, are the qualities of somebody who is a winner? You've been doing this a couple of years now. What kind of stands out as, yes, you've got what it takes?
Your character is what kind of makes you or breaks you. Yeah. If you don't have a good character, it will come out. You can fake it.
Wow.
You can fake it all you want. You can try and, get the crown, but as soon as the activities start happening and people start coming your way, your character will then come to light.
Wow.
How you treat people, how you speak to people. And funnily enough, obviously, we have one of our winners who is a Yanga representative.
Bissy Akins.
Bissy, yeah. Shout out to Bissy. So she is an amazing person, and her character, her everything about her is Miss Nigeria.
Wow.
And she's always carrying that crown, even though she's not the current winner.
Well, so we can say from the discussion we've had that beauty in the pageantry world really does lie within. And without still to come, we continue our discussion and look at the pressures and expectation beauty pageant winners face. And we look at the lack of diversity in the industry. See you after the break. Welcome back to Nonny. Now, from TV appearances to charity work, once a beauty queen is crowned, there's an expectation for them to give back to the community. Former winners have spoken out about the pressures they have endured, with some losing their titles after they have failed to fulfill their duties. Are these expectations too much? Gani, I've got to come to you because you're the most experienced in this industry. Is it too much? You know, somebody wants to join, wants to look good and get a crown, and then they're expected to give back, give out a lot of their time. Is that too much for somebody to...
I don't think it is. I think, especially with my show, you know, we tell them exactly what we expect from them before they even apply.
What do you expect?
So we have, you know, appearances that they need to attend to. We don't necessarily have the charity work, but they have to start an initiative that's supporting the community, that helps the community, that makes the community better. So for me, I don't think that's too much to ask, because as well as winning the show itself takes so long to put together. The team behind the show, we take about up to a year to make the show happen. So if we can take up to a year to make a platform for you, I think you can give us a year back.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think
you don't think it's too much to ask.
No.
What about you, Kim? What's it like in Nigeria and the expectations you have to live up to?
Basically, it's not far from what she said. You basically just have to give that year back to the organization, a few appearances.
Are you paid for those appearances?
It depends. It depends on how far you've come in the society at that point in time. If you're already viewed as a spectacle of like a celebrity or something, if you are going for occasions, the organization can actually ask them to pay you.
Faye, you were speaking about, you know, worrying, well, not worrying, but, you know, the fact that young men, young women look up to you. Would you be worried about those expectations, making sure you're posting the right pictures on Instagram, making sure if you're out, people may, you know, notice you? Do you worry about that or not at all?
What I did, I tried to make sure that I would be, you know, classy, elegant, but still the same bubbly character that I've always been in secondary school, primary school. I tried to see how I could, you know, merge the three. I didn't find it difficult, you know, being yourself, like there is no other you, so how would you find it difficult to be yourself? It's just how you handle your character, which I think is important, and I just made sure that I would handle it with elegance.
Well, that's amazing, but you know, you say you wonder how it could be difficult, but there are a couple of people in the public eye that have lost their titles. Danielle Lloyd, I don't know, you guys might be too young to know who she is, but she's a C-list celebrity in the UK. She lost her title when she agreed to go topless for Playboy. There's also a recent Love Island contestant who was stripped after having sex on the show. So I kind of can imagine why people would be outraged at that. Yeah. But do you kind of feel like, Gania, it can be a bit of a Stepford wife kind of thing, and that the public don't really care if you get up to any nonsense, really? It's just the industry and how the industry is built, and it's built on perfection. Yeah. But the people who are viewing you guys know that actually it's only a competition and we shouldn't really take ourselves that seriously.
So that's the thing. So the outside world will think it's just a competition, but it's a brand.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, we have a brand to uphold. So I remember getting an email once asking, you know, what do you train your girls with, or how do you train them? Because, you know, we see certain messages or certain tweets going out by not necessarily the winners, but sometimes just the contestants.
Wow.
So we have to let them know. At every rehearsal, I say to the girls, this is my brand, our brand. We're doing this together. We're trying to uplift the community. We're not trying to bring it down. So you have to remember that what you do affects more than just you.
I want to pull you up on that, Gania, because of course, you know, your pageantry is very well known, and one of your previous winners was actually in Big Brother.
Yes, she was.
We don't need to say any names, people can Google that. Yeah. But she was caught up in a lot of fights. Yeah. You know, security had to be called. There was a lot of Ofcom complaints. Did that reflect badly on you, or how did you handle that entire situation?
To be honest, it didn't reflect too badly, because she was actually still the queen at the time, which means she hasn't really gone through the process. So it's very difficult to have a handle on someone when they've just become the queen. They haven't really learned how to manage the industry and the entertainment. People don't actually understand how strong the industry is.
Yeah, the spotlight. When you're in the spotlight, it can be really harsh.
And I think in terms of the way people are shown and perceived, especially people of colour, I personally don't think she did that bad. But, you know, when you have so much pressure on you, you can tick. Yeah. So personally, I love her. I think she did what she needed to do.
And you're still proud of her.
I'm still very
She's
proud
still a good representative of the brand.
Yes.
Okay. Critics of beauty pageants insist that the shows are ultimately objectifying women. The lack of diversity in race, size and class is an issue that's been pointed out time and time again. Recognising the need to explore different types of beauty has seen the launch of shows that appear to be less one-dimensional. Is the pageantry world only perpetuating one standard of beauty? Gania, I've got 3 kids. I've got a bit of a tummy.
Yep.
I like to go out with my friends.
Yep.
Sometimes I retweet things I shouldn't. Can I apply for your show?
100%. And one of our contestants this year actually has a child.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't. The only requirements we have is you have to be, I think, 5'4" minimum, and Nigerian.
Really?
Yeah.
What about mixed race?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can be half. You could, like, if at least one of your parents has to be full Nigerian. That's our criteria.
But can you understand the need to diversify? I'm sure you've seen some amazing women that may not be that pretty, and you'd want to put them in, but you don't, purely based on the look.
Yeah.
Can you admit to sometimes doing that?
No, I don't. I can't personally admit
Okay,
to that because
okay.
I look at character. We spend so much time with these women before we actually release who our contestants are and things like that. So maybe the winners might be, but we don't judge. The team doesn't judge. We have outside judges, so they might have their own kind of what they think the winner should look like.
Of
but
course.
personally, I'm trying to get out of that. If you just look at the girls we have this year, they're all different shapes and sizes, all different
Yay.
shades, all different heights. The shortest one is 5'4", the tallest one is 6'3", I think.
Wow.
So we have a range.
It'll be great to see them standing together.
Literally.
But, you know, listening to what you guys have got to say, I would say that the kind of people that should be entering these competitions are the people that are lacking in the confidence, so they can gain confidence, so they can be around their fellow women and join a sisterhood and a brotherhood. But these are not the women that are applying. The women that are applying are generally stick thin, very beautiful, have been told that they're pretty all their lives. So even though you say we're inclusive, come along, it doesn't seem from the outset or from the outside that it's an inclusive industry. Can you understand that?
Well, personally, the issue lies with the mainstream pageants. So Miss Universe, Miss America, these pageants are top of their game. They are like the mainstream head pageants that everyone looks up to. That's like the top of all pageants. And so the ideology and the image that they've presented over the past couple of years, that's what us upcoming pageants have been looking up to, or have, been thinking, okay, this is how we have to look like. We need to be tall, we need to be thin, we need to have, we need to be of a certain heritage, certain colour. These are the things that have been on the top and have been presented as like the perfect pageantries ever. And so with those being at the top and with those being the mainstream pageants, we're always going to think that, okay, this is how we have to look.
That's exactly how they have to be.
Yeah.
Gania, you've got males in your pageants. Why males? Because there isn't much of that, is there?
We actually don't have any this year, just because we didn't have enough that applied.
Yeah.
But the reason for that was to show that we wanted to be more inclusive. We wanted guys to come up as well, guys to represent their countries. And there are guys out there that don't necessarily trying to take away the stigma of pageants, and trying to bring a different flavour. Because having the men...
We like some flavour,
Having the men involved was really good. It was a really good vibe. It was so nice. So I was very upset to not have them this year.
Let me ask you very quickly, Kim, in Nigeria, of course, African women tend to have a lot of curves, breast, bum. Are you seeing that more in the kind of mainstream pageants? That, some of the Nigerian girls that are entering are very curvy and they're standing alongside somebody like you who's got a model figure.
I wouldn't say I have a 100% model figure because I'm quite curvy too.
You're curvy,
perfect.
Let's say perfect.
I would say the curvy girls are getting into the industry right now.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really happy because for me, when I started, I wasn't this big. I was literally like watching my waist like every single time, trying not to be bigger than a 6 because I felt like people would reject me from the industry.
Even in Nigeria?
Yeah, even in Nigeria. Even in Nigeria, I've gone to certain agencies, modeling agencies, and they'll tell me that, oh, if I lose my bum, they'll accept me. If I don't, I don't get accepted. So for so long, I was struggling with that, especially because I'm like a 5'8". So like my height is already like...
I'm just getting more and more jealous.
Exactly. So I would say that now a lot of people are coming out.
Yeah.
I know people that, like the pageant I contested in, I had someone that was like 5'4", 5'5", 5'10", curvy, tall. Most pageants now in Nigeria, if you even look at the queens, they are curvy.
Yeah.
Because now we even have plus-size modeling pageants. We have plus-size pageants too in Nigeria. So even if you're on the big side, you have a pageant for you.
It's becoming more inclusive. At least we can say it's more inclusive than the standard modeling industry. I've got to end on one thing and ask you, Ghania, about child pageants, because of course, you know, with all of the reality TV shows, they're so successful. You know, people laugh at them when you see these 3 or 4 year old girls with lipstick on and their hair gelled back. But what's your opinion? Some people see it as quite sinister.
Personally, I don't have a problem with it if the child is very much interested in it. If they've gone, mummy, 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 I want to be a part of this, and they're, you know, fully involved. But the problem now comes when you start plateauing them with all this stuff like they're an adult. Yeah. Make it a child pageant. Make it
about children, not lipstick and nail polish.
Make it fun, friendly, you know, show your talent as a child, because what you need to understand is children are very impressionable, and what you do with them when they're young affects them when they're older. So I personally don't have a problem with having a child pageant as long as it's done for children. Not for children pretending to be adults.
Exactly.
Wow, it's been really interesting talking to you. I'm definitely entering all of those competitions. Well, that's it from me, Juliana Olayinka, and my beautiful guests, Ghania, Ohemafe, and Kim. Don't forget, guys, Noni's now online, so wherever you are in the world, go to www.yangatv.com to check out every single episode. Join me next time for more Noni Chat. Goodbye.